The new Pinata Fiesta event just came out recently, and the clock is already ticking, which is why in today's video, we'll be going over why you have to choose your goals quickly in this new event. Now, I made a guide like this in the previous Tap Heroes event, but I believe for this event, this information is even more prevalent, so we are going to be going over everything you need to know about why you need to choose your goals and the different options. Now, we're going to enter, and I'm going to show you exactly why. So the choosing of your goals is in regard to the different leaderboards. As we know, there are two new leaderboards in this event. You got the highest Fiesta level, and then the first to reach the max level, which has been raised to 150,000. Now for the average person, it's going to be really hard to do both of these, and even the top players, you won't really be able to do both leaderboards at the same time. Obviously, they are very different and aren't very connected, other than the highest Fiesta level, where you basically need to do mazes to get the coins to then buy the next levels. You're not going to really have time to do mazes, so that is why it's so important in this event that you choose. Now, before we get into the leaderboard decisions, if you are a really new player who doesn't have that many pets or many items that can help in this event, I would suggest you don't go for either leaderboard and you just focus on grinding the breakable zone over here. Now, you may be thinking, okay, why would I do that? Well, I would suggest this actually because you can get diamonds from grinding in this zone, which will be really useful if you're AFKing for a lot of time. And again, diamonds are good, that's what you're aiming for. But not only that, you can also get a ton of candy from grinding these zones, which then are able to make gifts, and these gifts are selling for a lot. As you can see, 10 are worth 7.25 million. So if you're grinding these, you can get a ton of gifts from here. You get gifts faster in the breakable zone than doing the mazes. However, this is only if you have basically no good pets or good huges. If you do have a few good huges, then I would suggest you do focus on the maze. However, in regard to the leaderboards, you're basically going to need the Pinata Basher, which if you don't know what that is, it's the new enchant that came out with this event. And essentially it does 2x times damage against pinatas. So if you want to get on the leaderboard, you're basically going to need that either way, no matter which leaderboard you choose. It does cost like around 1 billion gems, so it's very expensive. You don't need to get it if you don't have the gems or if you don't want to make that kind of commitment. However, again, it is really helpful. But for the Fiesta level leaderboard, it is way more prevalent of an issue, as obviously all you're doing with the Fiesta levels is destroying the big pinatas. So it's way more important for that one. Now, this is one of the reasons why I would recommend you going for the maze levels, just because most of you have probably been grinding that already. And not only that, but it also helps with your clan battles if you are doing that, which I'm assuming most of you are. It's also easier to AFK, and there's a higher chance you get huges, gargantuans, titanics, and you can also get gifts, all the side rewards that you can get in the maze. That is another benefit. As well as those eggs you can get at the end, there is a chance for titanics and gargantuans and huges there as well. So it's really the main way to grind. However, in regards to leaderboard, that may not be the one you choose, because it's also really competitive. This event especially is really unfair for free to play and poorer players if you haven't been able to see that, just because the fact that it's really about the enchants, the pets, and just all the kind of items you have that help you. And the maze max level leaderboard is basically just that on steroids for the event. So if you don't have crazy stuff with friends with crazy stuff to help you grind, you aren't going to be able to get as high. And at the same time, everyone is grinding mazes because it's clan rewards, because of the leaderboard, because of everything. Everyone's going to be going for mazes as well. Also, the fact that the pets, if you go to this leaderboard's pet, there's a chance for gargantuans and then titanics. While this leaderboard, there's only chance for titanics. So obviously you can do the math. You can see that more people are going to be going for the gargantuans because a gargantuan is better. Also, the fact that there's a higher chance of getting better rewards here. As you can see, 300 to 2500, you can get a titanic. While over here, you need to be top at least 1000. So it's easier to get a titanic here. So this leaderboard is going to be a lot more competitive. So if you don't care about the clan battles or the maze rewards, and you are willing to AFK with a macro, which you'll definitely need, then I would suggest you do maybe, depending on what your decision is, go for the pinatas levels, as less people are grinding, so you can get higher and hopefully get one of the titanic. And it doesn't require any friends or anyone else's help. It's just your solo account. You don't need any alts to be helping you, which the mazes rely on heavily. If you think this would be more of a challenge that you should take up, then I would suggest you go for that. Why not? End of the day, it's a game, so just have fun. But if you are going to be doing this leaderboard, you will need the Pinata Basher most likely. Like, I'm not going to sugarcoat it or anything. You're basically going to need a Pinata if you want to get on this leaderboard. Both leaderboards are very competitive. People have been grinding already. So if you haven't been grinding already, or you haven't been grinding that much, then it will be really hard to play catch up and get even the Titanic or even the huge. If you decide this is an event you want to be more chillin', like for me, I decided that I'm not going to grind as much for this event just because I haven't had as much time and because I'm just not as into it. You know, I feel like it's just not as fair for the average person. So I haven't been grinding that much. However, depending on what you want to pick, that's your choice. And I kind of laid out the foundation of what you should pick depending on where you at and the place and what you're looking to get. So again, just a little recap. Do this if you want to get a less challenging one, less people, less competitive. However, you will probably need the Pinata Basher if you do want to get a very competitive rank. And then do this one if you want to have the highest chance of getting rewards and you're not going for maybe a ranking as much, but it's just kind of like a complimentary. Again, you work on the clan in this one, and then you also work on the rewards that you can get, the eggs and the point rewards. While this one, you're just going to be grinding for the leaderboard basically. And you will need a macro. So if you don't have a device that can have a macro, or that's something you don't want to do, then I would not suggest you do this one. Now, I hope you guys did enjoy this video. I hope it was helpful. And if you did enjoy it, please subscribe and like to help support me, and so you can see my further content in the future. Alright, good luck, and I'll see you all later.